In Texas news, my home state, of which I am a citizen of the great state of Texas, proud to be a Texan citizen as well, the largest teacher preparation program has suffered a blow in relation to a court ruling. So we'd like to have teachers. Teachers are a good thing to have. And we want to have a program to get the teachers and teach the teachers and accredit the teachers. All those things are great, but the way that we're going about it has left to problems and has led to such a problem that the entire program itself is, at least for the moment, in some jeopardy. Let's go ahead and get started with this. The future of an embattled teacher preparation company, which enrolls more educator candidates than any other program in Texas, remains in limbo after Travis County judge, that's Austin, threw a curveball in the plans. The Teachers of Tomorrow, also known as A+ Texas Teachers, is under scrutiny after failing to provide state education officials that they had corrected a long-standing operational problem. So there is an issue that is known with this educational program. This particular company enrolls more educators than any other program in Texas. So not the only one, to be sure, but it is the most dominant one in the state, which makes sense, of course, Austin being the state capital, and that they would teach a lot of teachers is not, of course, particularly surprising. And they have a bit of a market hold on Travis County. And there is a problem because there has been a long-standing operational problem. The Texas Educational Agency recommended last year revoking the company's accreditation, citing failure to meet the conditions of the improvement plan that they had. So they were already on probation and had a plan to try to improve things, and things didn't go well. They weren't able to meet their goals. So now their accreditation is threatened. If the accreditation is in fact yanked, the company, of course, would not be able to produce certified teachers. So this has been a long-standing problem for this particular company. Haven't been able to get its act together, now in danger of losing its accreditation. And the single biggest source of teachers might be lost, but maybe the teachers they're producing aren't doing a really great job, so maybe it's okay. Before state officials can vote on the company's future, both sides would have to present arguments before an administrative judge, and that step for the moment is currently stalled as they try to fight the lack of accreditation. The Travis County judge has ruled in May in favor of the program, granting a temporary injunction. The decision stops the educational officials from moving forward for their case, at least for the moment. So this is an administrative process, right, in terms of how teachers get accredited and how the people who accredit them get accredited, right? The accreditation of the accreditors. And this is a program that's run by the Department of Education, as you would reasonably expect. But a district judge says that for the moment this is stalled. So we've moved out of the administrative and into the legal, at least for the moment, on all that stuff. The Texas education spokesman said the officials can't comment on the litigation, but the state does plan to appeal, which makes logical sense because the state isn't able to run its accreditation process in a way that seems to be in accord with what they're trying to do in terms of this school is not doing things the way we want to. Teachers of Tomorrow, for their point, said they're pleased with the judge's ruling. I bet they are, saying the Teachers of Tomorrow has maintained the highest level of regulatory compliance, cooperation, and adherence to the process for contesting the review's findings. Yeah, I'm sure you're maintaining the highest level of compliance. That's why you're in this boat. You know, it could be that the county is acting completely arbitrary over here, but it is Travis County. And I wouldn't imagine that they go after teachers just for the hell of it, because Travis County is, at least in Texas level, left-leaning. It is sometimes called the San Francisco of Texas, which I'm not sure that's completely fair, but, well, it is probably the most left-leaning place in Texas. So one would think they wouldn't just go after teachers for the hell of it. So the fact that they say, oh, we're maintaining the highest level of regulatory compliance, I have my doubts. If Travis County is acting against you in this particular domain, I'd imagine it's because things are not going well in your company. That would be my inferences about the relevant thing. Company leaders, for their part, have argued the state unlawfully held them to invented, invalid, and inapplicable standards. Ooh, Rule of Threes and alliteration. Well, la-di-da-di-da. Invented, invalid, inapplicable. Wow, I love it. Yep, you got your Rule of Threes, you got your alliteration. Someone went to a public speaking class. The company's entire business is at stake should the state bring the case to the State Office of Administrative Hearings. Yes, that would be true. Yes, your entire company might lose its accreditation status. You have correctly understood the nature of the problem. The fight for the issue comes as states no. The fight relating to accreditation comes as the schools themselves face an ongoing education shortage, which is a problem that many states have had. Difficult to find enough teachers. You could try paying them more, of course. That might help in acquiring better quality content, but of course, well, you don't want to do that. And also, education is already way too expensive, mostly because there's too much bureaucracy and too much oversight and stuff like that. But we weren't worried about the more systemic problems. We just noticed that it's hard finding teachers, and if we shut down the program that gets us the most teachers in the state, well, obviously we won't have those teachers anymore. So that would further the problem of getting teachers. But then again, what are the quality of teachers we're getting? So if the quality of teachers we're getting isn't good enough, maybe it doesn't matter. The relevant program helps people who went to college without intent to become teachers. So of course, some people go to college with the idea of becoming teachers in mind and get an educational degree to help with education. But, not everyone who goes to college for that reason, but they might want to teach anyway. And because, they might be very good teachers, notwithstanding the fact they don't have an education degree. In fact, they might even be better teachers than people who didn't get an education degree, at least in my humble estimation. So this program helps people with college degrees, but not in education, become teachers, which sounds like that might be a very good thing. The company recruits many people in search of a second career and trains them in how to become teachers through online coursework. But state auditors repeatedly found the company fell short of standards. It misled potential teachers with its advertising, did not support candidates with required mentors, and failed to demonstrate its training was based on research. So maybe a good goal, maybe we're going about it in a bit of a haphazard way. So things are not always great. The company was also subject to an excessive number of complaints from teacher candidates, some of whom left the profession in frustration. So maybe our company is acting a little bit maliciously, or at least incompetently, deceiving people through its ad, inducing them as be like, you can become a teacher too. It's so easy. And then when we actually get into it, less so. And people are leaving the program, so state officials can't help noticing you're getting a lot of complaints. So maybe it's because you're not doing a very good job as a company. Thought for concern, to be sure. After a scathing audit in 2021, the State Board of Education placed the company on probation, then appointed a monitor to help analyze operations and ensure the company hit benchmarks. But after several months, the monitor that was appointed found not so much. So we got enough concern that we appointed a guy to oversee your operations, to give you that, looking at you concern, and not so much. For example, the staff identified 350 candidates that went through the program and saw evidence that they had sufficient field-based experience. But the company only provided evidence for 80% of the candidates. And we needed to hit 90%. So we needed to get an A, and we got a C+. So not great. So we need to have evidence that our teachers are qualified, and we weren't able to do that. So going great. The company was subject to 19 formal complaints last year, more than all other programs. So that's how many complaints we got. We got more complaints than every other program. So going great. The complaints relate to processing issues, non-responsiveness, and lack of support. Teachers of tomorrow over here, who would very much like to continue operating their for-profit business, said that the analysis includes fundamental errors. The company hired its own consultant to conduct a review, which found the program was compliant. Wow, amazing. The experts we hired for our company say we're doing a great job. What are the odds? The company we hired to audit us said we're doing great. So we disagree with the state level audit. Since the auditing problem, new leadership has also taken over, and they say they've invested $6 million to update the program. So we're trying to fix the problem. We're spending money. Okay. Leaders say they remain committed to working with state officials to combat the teacher shortage crisis and to adhere to the rigorous standard, but not going great. The final decision, of course, would ultimately lie with the State Board for Education Certificates, which is, of course, what you would expect. For now, the company remains on probation, and potential educators can continue moving through the program for the moment while all this is being sorted out. Thus, that ends our article relating to the Texas education program, which infects this one particular company, which is the most dominant company in Texas when it comes to the education. But they've received 19 complaints, more than any other competitor in this domain. And also, they were audited by the state and found to be deficient. But it's okay. Their own auditors that they hired say they're doing a great job. And I'm sure we can take it at face value, I'm sure. But this issue is proceeding with also the courts getting involved, putting an injunction on the whole thing for a moment. So unclear how this will resolve for the moment. And that for the moment brings us under attention of this story.